on some op shit. I was cruising down a nigga block with the chopstick. Rockstar nigga, nah, I need a rock bitch. E1 beef, not Gucci, not squash. Yeah, that weapon like a tar.
Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, a new intro in the Kirby series, with the last one being an unfinished, unrealized product. How does Kirby's new jump on the Switch stand? Starting off, the world almost ends. I mean, that's pretty standard Kirby stuff. And he gets teleported to the Forgotten Lands. Now, there's a big change in this Kirby game. Kirby's always 2D, and since I've been following this little pink puffball since the beginning of time, this is a big change. Yeah, we got wide. Kirby is now in 3D. He can move full 360 diagonals. Now, this isn't an open world game like 90% of the games that are coming out this year. It's more like 3D world in that sense. Still linear levels, but now you just have full range of motion. Copy abilities got a big change because of this. In the last few games, all the copy abilities had an absurd move list, felt like a Smash move list. But now each copy is limited. But they have made some creative workarounds with these new abilities. Obviously, being able to move a whole 360 degrees changes a lot, and with the new abilities, they found great ways to do it. But they're back to the simpler times, where each ability really only had about 1 to 2 things they could actually do. But even with this, copy abilities feel so smooth with a full range of motion. And the new abilities are great. My favorite, of course, is Kirby
wields a gun.
But they still keep these abilities interesting, and the main way they do it is with the upgrades. But I'll get into that later. After beating the tutorial, you become Kirby and drive off to the sunset. You soon meet your helper type. Not gonna lie, Elfin's pretty forgettable till about the late game. But other than that, it's a fun helper, fun little sidekick, but there are a lot of lore implications that I won't be getting into. Also, mentioning Kirby, it's a good time as ever to mention the big gimmick of this game, Mouthful Mode. Mouthful Mode, Kirby takes the shape of any object he finds in the world that he can eat. Cones, cars, vending machines, light bulbs, uses them to solve puzzles world. It's not really nothing too big in my opinion. It's kind of like something you would expect from Kirby from like the past few games, but now actually using the idea of Kirby not being able to swallow everything as their gimmick. Now, I don't think this really serves anything, and if it were taken away, it wouldn't really change the game all that much. But it did give us some of the funniest designs I've ever seen. Apologies, that's also a major spoiler. This is Kirby, so don't expect the hardest thing in the world. The hardest thing is probably getting all the Waddle Dees. The Waddle Dees are scattered across each level with certain challenges to get them. Now, forcing replayability, as you're not going to get them all on your first try. Some of these are absolute bullshit. And you know damn well I'm going to get every single Waddle Dee known to man. But this is one of the most frustrating things, as some of these challenges can be so stupid that you would never know to get these. Luckily, the game does tell you, but you can play a level over and over and still not get it. Now, you do need a certain amount of Waddle Dees required to play the game. I mean, they give you 3 per level and you have to beat every level. So for like the normal playthrough, you can get them easily speedrunning. But for the Waddle Dee Town, which acts as your new hub world, you have to get hundreds of Waddle Dees to unlock the arenas, the mini games, the shop. But you still need up to like 200 Waddle Dees to unlock everything in the town. Speaking of the town, this is where the upgrades are. You'll find blueprints across the world and make your copy abilities stronger. Take for example Meta Knight's sword. After you beat him in the arena, you get Meta Knight's sword to use. Now the upgrades are stupid powerful. Once you get them to level 3, and I think everything has a level 3, you melt through bosses. Now obviously the bosses themselves aren't all that. But hey, things are looking up. The first boss isn't a variation of Wispy Woods. See? Things are changing for the better. But, damn it, the second one is. And yes, there's a D.D.D and a Meta Knight. Obviously, they've changed quite a bit and do different things, but I'm getting tired of being haunted by some variation of Wispy Woods, Meta Knight, and King D.D.D.
Stop it, Patrick, you're scaring it!
The new bosses are quite fun as well, and there's no real challenge to the boss, and the game knows that. They literally give a challenge for Waddle Dees to see if you can do a hitless run, which is not that hard. But fortunately, there actually is a good variations of bosses, and they all feel like they do different things, not like the last. Sorry, it's just too easy to shit on Star Allies. Now forget everything I just said about challenge, because now we're in post-game territory. After you go through everything one time, you get one extra world, where it's basically every level is a combination of every single world with an extreme challenge. Yeah, these are stressful. These you might die to. And the bosses all get a Neo-color JoJo style, all menacing and shit, and they're souped up as hell. I probably died about a few times to a few of these. Now, after you beat everything, there is the true arena. This is obviously the hardest part. The true arena has all the souped up menacing JoJo versions of the bosses with a new secret final boss. But that's also normal Kirby stuff. I mean, the true arena is always the hardest thing in every Kirby game, and will give you a bit of a run for your money. This is what I feel like Truby's true jump to HD would have been. Starlight was a bit of a disappointment, but seeing this game and the level design is immaculate. The last few levels in the game and the last few worlds have some of the greatest Kirby level designs I have ever seen. And a lot of the subtle things they've just added, like in Kirby's house, you can look at the figures you've collected across the game. If the abundance of content with the mini games and the treasure roads being extra things you can do with your copy abilities to see how good you are, is just why this game is the true Kirby game on the Switch. And what they did with Star Allies saying giving free updates later on, I would love to see it with that game. Now yes, granted, they did that because people complained the game was unfinished, but they could still do so much more with Forgotten Lands. Now that's not saying the game is incomplete. No, the game has an abundance of content to play. Now granted, only about 20 hours, so if you're like, I want to wait, totally understandable, but it's still one of the best Kirby games I've seen to date. Now granted, I will say this was more of a safe play to transferring to 3D. Now I'm not gonna hate on them for doing that, but it's nothing to scale like Robobot. Do I think they can do that? Yes, absolutely. I think the next few Kirby games, if they work on it with a level like this and more, can be some of the best out there. Heck, the director said, I feel like Kirby's a franchise that can literally go anywhere. So we have no idea where this is going. And I am excited to see where Kirby is headed. Now with this, I would like to give Kirby a good old 8 Carbies out of 10. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Took me a minute to play this because I was still trying to beat Elden Ring. I did it, so there's that. I think what's next, I may be going back to Kingdom Hearts, not 100% on that, but I will be trying to get the reviews I said will eventually be out. There's just so many new games that have been coming that's, kind of difficult, but I definitely will be getting the next few reviews out soon. And I'll see, because I'm already halfway through Birth by Sleep, if I can get Birth by Sleep quicker than what I've been doing. Alright, thanks for watching, and I am